All right, fight fans, we are back here with another fight night edition of Saturday night of UFC 307. Gonna be giving my recap and reaction throughout this entire card. Card was kind of okay, kind of pretty decent. I'll give it a. It was solid. It was decent. I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. But to start off, we start with the first fight on the card. We had Tim Means going against Court McGee. Pretty decent on the feet so far for these two guys who really just had it out, and then somehow gets into a scramble on the ground and gets a nice reared end kind of on the chin, not really full in, and didn't really have the body fully for Court McGee, but homeboy gets the hometown win for himself in Utah. Then we move on to the retirement of Carla Esparza, fighting against Tisha Pennington, the wife of Raquel Pennington. They get into a little scrap. Wasn't really much. Tisha got the dub. I mean, it is what it was. I mean, shout out to Carla. Had a great career. I guess you can say that for the women's division. Absolutely. But now she gets it right off in the sunset, and now it's pretty good for her career. Moving on up the card, we had Ryan Spann versus the oldest man in the UFC known to man, Ovince St. Preux. He was 41 years old, same age as Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, but this guy looks like he's 55 out there. Jesus Christ. He does not need to be out there fighting. And Ryan Spann just completely obliterated that dude. Hit him with a nasty right hand, sending him flying across the cage, gets in a nasty overhand guillotine, and immediately OSP taps like he should and go back to the retirement home. Moving up the card, we had Eor Pretoria going against Cesar Almeida. It was a pretty decent fight on the feet. Cesar Almeida is definitely a better striker than Eor Pretoria. Pretoria is just there because he's a big body for the division, I guess. Cesar Almeida had a lot of fouls though, hitting to the cups. Had a lot of pokes to the eyes. I mean, what's up with that? You freaking prick. I mean, just close your gloves, brother. You don't got to do all that. Ia Pretoria then gasses out in the third round because he has no gas tank, and Cesar Almeida pretty much gets an easy decision for himself. Moving on up the card, we had Alexander Hernandez going against, I believe, Chris Hubbard. Um, Pretty good. I like what Hernandez was doing the first two rounds. I think he definitely outstruck, definitely counterpunching against Hubbard, who's really trying to get those takedowns and bring it to more of a grappling type of fight instead of it just being like a stand-up fight, because he definitely was losing on the exchanges. But in the third round, he hurt Hernandez. I believe he won that round. He thought he actually heard his name when the announcement of the winner was going to be called, but Alexander Hernandez definitely took those first two rounds. And moving on to the headliner of the prelims, we had Joaquin Buckley going against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And man, I called this fight to a T. If you watch my prediction video, definitely check that out if you guys are tuned in for this channel. Wonderboy Thompson was definitely keyed in on those takedowns. Joaquin Buckley doesn't have the greatest takedowns as well, but he definitely fought hard for them. I thought Wonder Boy had a clear edge definitely in the first round, defending those takedowns well, mixing it up on the feet, landing those counter right hands whenever Buckley started to come in. In the second round, I think Buckley did a lot better. I think he actually won the second round, in my opinion. Starting to mix in some of the shots in with Wonder Boy. Definitely hit him pretty hard and had a lot of good exchanges, in my opinion. Then in the third round, Buckley started to march Thompson down, really started to get some type of momentum towards his way. Wonder Boy hits him with a head kick that I think kind of rocks him, and then all of a sudden, Joaquin Buckley just explodes into this nasty right hook, drops Wonder Boy bad, lands right on his chin, flops to the ground, and they call the fight off. Great call out for Usman as well for Buckley. That is definitely a fight I would be definitely interested in seeing, because I mean, I think that would be a hell of a scrap. Moving on up the card, we had Caitlin Vieira going against Kayla Harrison, and very, very disappointing in my opinion. Kayla Harrison did what she needed to do. She got the takedowns whenever she got the takedowns, especially during this fight, especially in the first round. But on the feet, Harrison definitely has some deficiencies. She definitely lacks in a lot of things. She is physically imposing, and she did dominate the majority of the time against Vieira, besides Vieira getting a couple of good elbows in the clinch and landing a couple of nice strikes here and there. But besides that, I mean, Kayla Harrison won this fight convincingly, but she does need a lot of work to do. Moving on up the card, we had Kevin Holland versus Roman Dolidze. And wow, what a disappointment this was, man. Especially in the first round, going on how this fight was looking. Kevin Holland was cooking on the feet with the leg kicks, started to mix in some shots more, started to really throw a lot with his shots as well, and looking to really hurt Roman Dolidze. But Roman Dolidze easily takes Kevin Holland down, brings it to the ground game, into the grappling. They get into a scramble. Kevin Holland injures his rib, man, and it was what it was from there. He wasn't able to continue. Very, very disappointing in my opinion. I thought Kevin Holland was looking pretty crisp on the feet, but Roman Dolidze, some lucky way, flukes his way to a win. Moving up the card, we had the fucking disgrace of the card. This was despicable. This was coward-esque. I mean, what a pussy Mario Batista is, man. Jesus Christ, brother. In the first round, it's on the feet. It's all right. Mario Batista, I believe, is winning some of the exchanges, especially on the feet with Jose Aldo, the king of Rio, the king of MMA and UFC. And Mario Batista is going for these takedowns against the dude that has the best takedown defense in MMA history, probably. Doesn't secure any takedowns or takes him to the ground at all because he can't, because he's going against the best takedown defense fighter in the MMA of all time, and just decides to fucking marob the entire fight, bro. What a coward, man. What a coward. Moving to the second round, whatever. Jose Aldo is doing what he needs to be doing, especially on the feet. Gets where he needs to go. He's starting to hit and land a lot more nasty combinations on the feet with Mario Batista. It looks like there's just another level and tiers of fighting between these two guys, especially with the stand-ups and the striking. Mario Batista tries to marob his way again to this fight, but doesn't get much of what he's able to. So I think Jose Aldo wins the second round. Then moving on to the third round, they start off on the feet. Jose Aldo not really doing too much. Neither is Mario Batista. But Jose Aldo is clearly outstriking him, clearly winning the exchanges. Not nothing crazy on the feet, but he is winning in general when you win on damage and clearly on the striking. And then this guy, just the pussy of the world, man. What are we doing? We're grabbing people to the cage, stalling out, kneeing to the thigh, and think that this is just a smart way to win a fight, bro. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? What is this sport? I am sick to my stomach talking about this pussy Mario Batista just stalling on the fucking cage because he doesn't want to throw strikes with Jose Aldo because he knows he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Stalls out the majority of the round on the fence because he doesn't want to throw with this guy at all like a man. And Jose Aldo gets some separation here and there a few times, lands some better strikes, but continuously Mario Batista, the pit bull, what Joe Rogan says, keeps him on the cage. Coward of a man. I never want to see him fight again. And the next time I see him fight, I want to get him slept on the canvas the next time I see Mario Batista. Excuse me, but moving on up the card, we have the co-main event of the bantamweight women's championship between Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington. And man, what a disgusting fight this was. I mean, in terms of technique and IQ and game plan, Sorry, Mario Batista has me speaking like a weirdo. This was terrible. I mean, Juliana Pena, for those leg kicks, was open so bad. Her boxing and technique in terms of her boxing is so unorthodox and so weird, but it works. And Raquel Pennington obviously doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Going in for clinches when she doesn't really need to go in for clinches because obviously she does not have the grappling ability up to the par of Juliana Pena. And in terms of on the feet, I did not think this was a robbery. If anything, I think that Juliana Pena was the rightful winner. I thought she outstruck and countered Raquel Pennington very, very well on the feet. I think she did very, very good. She outlanded her, in my opinion. You could say maybe the significant strikes for Pennington were better. I don't believe that. I watched the fight with my eyes. I think Juliana Pena definitely outpointed and definitely countered uh, Raquel Pennington very, very effectively in the second round and the third round. She took her down pretty easily, did whatever she wanted to, had a lot of control of the second round, started to do a little more damage, and started to threaten with the rear naked choke in the third. In the fourth round, Pennington turned the tide around. She started to build in more pressure. She had some fire under her. She landed a nasty counter right hand that dropped Juliana Pena. Nasty. I think she also landed a nice head kick as well that stunned her, but she was kind of off balance, so she didn't get really much of it to really hurt Juliana Pena. And then moving into the fifth round, it was kind of even on the feet. I don't think Juliana Pena was really hurt when she got hit with a lot of those shots. I think the altitude and the inactiveness and also her being tired really was starting to affect her in the later stage of that round. I mean, it is a championship round. 25 minutes is crazy of a pace. But this was definitely not a kickboxing match. Definitely the grappling advantage was all the way towards Pena, but it really was just a boxing match between these two girls. And their boxing is terrible. Pennington's boxing is definitely terrible, and her game plan was terrible. If she just went in for those leg kicks and started kicking a lot more, she definitely would have easily won this fight and broke down Pena a lot easier, but she didn't, so she's stupid, has no IQ, and her game plan was retarded. And Pena really countered effectively very well. Her boxing was really, really good. I like what she did, and she mixed it in a lot, landed a lot of nice right hands, had a really nice big welt on Pennington's face. She returns as the championship in this bantamweight division. She called out Amanda Nunes. I guess she's hunting for that third trilogy fight, I guess, but Kayla Harrison is right there in the wings to be able to fight her, regardless of her having a disappointment of a fight that she had early on this card. And moving on to the main event, we had Khalil Roundtree going against Poatan Alex Pereira. And man, did I call this fight down to the wire. Actually, no, I didn't. I called for a second round KO, which was incorrect. But the way that I did say that this fight was going to go was actually the way that it actually went. Khalil Roundtree, to a lot of people's surprise, thought that this was just going to be another easy first round KO, or somebody like me with a second round KO that thought that it was going to be pretty much easy sledding for Alex, and Roundtree was going to have his moments here and there. But Roundtree really, really impressed. He really turned up and showed heart and toughness and determination into this fight. Fought like a man, Mario Batista, and stood up with Alex Pereira. I think in the first two rounds he did a lot more damage. In the first round, I think he definitely showed off his speed, his quickness, and awareness. And obviously power to be able to show to Pereira that, listen, you're not going to get off this fight easy. It's going to be on the feet. We're going to stand up. We're going to do what we need to do. We're going to handle business like men, Mario Batista. But it really did, I think, come to a surprise for Pereira. He thought, maybe to the majority of a lot of people, thought that it was going to be a pretty, again, like I said, easy sledding fight for him. Another just domination name on the board, but he was landing a lot of quick 1-2s, had a lot of nice shots off the counter for Pereira. Really, really was timing Pereira very well, especially with the quickness that he has, man. I mean, it was really, really an impressive showing from him. And I'm also kind of impressed that I actually kind of called the fight a little bit, not a lot of it. I won't give myself full credit for that. But Khalil Roundtree definitely impressed. I think in the second round, I think that's when Pereira started to really figure him out and what he wanted to do, especially off the 1-1-2s or the counter shots that were coming his way and the overhands and straight shots that Khalil Roundtree was definitely coming in with. They didn't really throw a lot of kicks, especially in the first, I want to say, like 2 rounds, which is very surprising in my opinion. I guess he didn't want to get kicked off the counter. But Pereira started to really land those leg kicks, really slowed down momentum in the second round. But he went for a question mark head kick and missed. Turns around, gets hit on the side of his face with a right hand, gets dropped, gets hit with another head kick as well during the second round. Not fully connected, but it was a good head kick. So it scored very well for Khalil Roundtree. And in the third round, I mean, Pereira just took over, took the momentum away. And while his power and the just intimidation factor of Pereira that usually goes into a lot of fighters and a lot of fights where they just get caught with one shot and that's it, Roundtree really did show a lot of determination. He really got figured out and started to gas out, especially in the third round. And Pereira just started to press on that gas and started to press forward and really started to implement his fight. I believe I did call it in my video. I'm not sure, but I did think that the right hand was definitely going to be the major key factor, as well as the jab. The jab was very educated and piston-like in this fight. So the jab was in Khalil Roundtree's face a lot. The right hand started to land a lot, even though the left hook wasn't really there. That's really the um, hallmark punch for Alex Pereira that everybody knows him for, really, is that left hook. But his right hand was there all day, same as the jab. The low kick, especially if the southpaw stance for Khalil Roundtree, was really getting him a lot of issues. Rizzy wasn't going anywhere. Gas tank was going, and you can see the writing on the wall, especially towards the end of that third round and into the fourth round. It was just a complete obliteration, complete annihilation, a domination of sub shorts as a man. And you got to give a lot of credit to Khalil Roundtree, man. He has heart, bro. He really went out there and went out on a shield. Really, like, he just wanted to go out there and win, and he had a lot of belief into him. But technique-wise, it's just another level against Pereira. Pereira's will, his spirit, and obviously his technique and his technical aspects with his kickboxing instead of just being raw power is just he honestly is the best striker in my opinion in the UFC as of right now. Just completely just breaks Khalil Roundtree's will, stunning him with jabs, knocking his head back with jabs in ones and twos, getting the knees into the clinch, to the face, into the body, and obviously the end sequence with the uppercut to the face. Then while Roundtree is already hurt and wobbling all over the place and really just trying to get that fight to the fifth round, Pereira's just still in his face, lands a nasty right hand body shot right into a nice left hook body shot right on the liver, drops Khalil Roundtree, and that is the end of the fight in the fourth round. What a hell of a fight, hell of a main event, and a hell of a performance by Khalil Roundtree and by Alex Pereira, who retains his light heavyweight crown. And going to the predictions, I got Kevin Holland wrong. I got Joaquin Buckley, Juliana Pena, Alex Pereira correct. I'm not going to count the Jose Aldo prediction. That's bullshit. But I got Kayla Harrison right. So 4 for 1. 4 for 2 if you want to go technical, but 4 for 1 in my opinion. Like this video if you obviously like this video and you're more of a man of Mario Batista. Right? Coward. Obviously, comment your opinions. Comment how you believe and how you thought this card was for you. How entertaining was it for you? Did you enjoy it or did you think it was kind of a snooze fest until the main event? And subscribe, man. If you love this video, you love this juicy content, I got more of this on here, man. I got more of it just for you, baby. And thank you guys for watching again. Appreciate you guys, and peace.